Thank you for tuning in to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. And if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, I'd like to send you a warm welcome. Here I talk about issues that happen within the Black community, hopefully for some resolution or at least some food for thought to go about your daily way. So without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic, which is how the devalued Black woman can regain respect. Okay, because I'm not sure if it's just me, but if there's any other people listening out there, ladies and gentlemen, the Black woman had a lot more reverence and respect, about 60 years ago than what she has now. Okay? And this episode is geared toward talking to especially the young Black ladies and the older ones, and women, period, and definitely the Black woman, on how we can regain that respect and even take it to a higher level. Okay, and I also want to say that I understand that every young Black woman didn't have a mother or women that surrounded her that knew about being a lady, okay? There's a lot that don't know, and even without even knowing, some Black women had mothers in the house that may have influenced them to do things that were unladylike, so they cheered them on to do things that were unladylike, But I want to let my Black sisters know how beautiful you are, okay? I want to let you know how beautiful you are because I don't think a lot of Black women have been told that, more than just for your sexuality, okay? And I want to let you know how beautiful you are. I'm letting you know it. It's time for Black women to start telling other Black women that. And the things that I'm going to discuss in this episode, some may say, I already know that. That's A, B, C, do, re, mi. That's basics. But not every Black woman has been taught these things. Or maybe there's some things that you can pick up or refresh about yourself. Okay, maybe this can be a refresher course for some. And I want to say that we as Black women have a choice in 2021 in how we will be viewed. Okay, so things have changed to a certain degree. We've got more Black female pilots. We've got more, we've got the first Jamaican descent, African descent, vice president. We've got more Black female teachers. We've got a lot of positive Black female senators, you name it, that we have to look up to and to model and mold our daughters off of. But then we've still got the negative ones. We've got the Black woman still playing this comical clown type of role. There's nothing wrong with doing comedy, but just this stereotype that Black women have to be funny and obnoxious just to be on main screens. So we've still got that going on. And then we've got the promiscuous Black woman that's highly praised in mainstream. Okay, so that our daughters are looking at and our Black women are looking at and made to feel like this is the only image that they have to become subconsciously, psychologically, okay? And with our Black women being on such a low level, with being on stage, on their knees, practically doing, excuse my language, masturbation right on stage, touching on themselves, just things that are beyond unladylike. It's just below just being called quote unquote unladylike. But I asked the dear Black woman, I ask you, which one will you choose? Which one will you choose to be? With us having so many choices now, which one will you choose? So let's go back into how can the Black woman regain respect? Okay? There was a time when the Black woman was restricted to how she was seen. But thanks to many Black women like Rosa Parks, Madam C.J. Walker, and Mary McLeod Bethune, plus many more, that fought for us as Black women to be able to choose. Choose how we will be seen, and furthermore, how we will be remembered. So 100 years from now, how will our future children remember us as Black women, okay? Although the image of the Black woman is still distorted, roles like Mammy and the promiscuous woman are yet to be completely debunked from mainstream media. The Black woman has the choice our ancestors never did. Even though prominent roles like princesses, ladies, and maidens are limited on television for the Black woman, it is very important as Black women that we don't wait to become what we see on TV until we make better choices for ourselves and our daughters. So I'm saying, don't just wait till the TV comes to some type of eureka moment that they're going to place more black women on TV in these roles. Okay, we need to determine who we're going to be as black women, not who the public determines we're going to be. Okay, we set the tone, okay? And I'd like to go over some things as black women, what we can do to revamp, refresh, or improve or enlighten how we can gain more respect and place more value on ourselves so that other people, and especially our men, can place more value upon us. And I want to start with number one. It is one thing as a mother to say you would give your life or die for your children. Part of that is protecting your children's innocence at all costs. Okay, because it's one thing to say you'll jump in front of a car, something very direct, you'll jump in front of a bullet, But part of that, of risking your life, is the sacrifice and the time and the life force that you must spend in gearing your children in the right direction. I like to start off with the young black female child. Okay, so this is the infant, and this is the toddler, and this is the preschool age all the way up into teenage, later years of a female child, because it starts with the black female child. Okay, the black female child must be protected. It's best if she is kept away from men that are not her father. Okay, so I'm not saying that she can't go around her uncles and, things of that nature. But as a woman, though, I'm talking about as the mother, though, we've got an epidemic of women just going from man to man and not caring about or realizing the consequences of having so many men that, like, if you're single with no kids, that's something that you're doing while you have children, and the psychological effects it has on not just the female child but the male child as well. And this is part of sacrificing your life here. This is part of sacrificing your life versus just jumping in front of a car, the things that you may have to sacrifice for your children to be psychologically well. Okay? So it's best that she, basically is around her father. And if he's not well, then she can't be around him either. But if he is well, and he means well for his children, then this is the man that she needs to be around, okay? She must be kept from young boys unless supervised. This is a big one, especially, this was really implemented in the old school days, but it needs to be brought back, okay? There's nothing wrong with girls, I think, fraternizing with boys, but it needs to be supervised. And that's why I said to be kept from young boys unless supervised. Okay, the young black female child should be kept from viewing all vulgar videos and song lyrics. Role models like rappers and most entertainers are inappropriate for not only black children but black people in a nutshell. And I hate to say that, but it's reality, especially for the young minds that are still impressionable and being molded. We like to say that, I'm not going to say any names, but, the most popular singers and entertainers, and it's good that they're making money. And I'm not saying anything about our black men and women that are making money, but we need to understand the impression and the mark that it's leaving on our children. And we're talking about the young daughters here. I suggest that they don't even know who their names are. Just to be quite honest, if they don't have enough respect to put out images and lyrics that are going to help black people overall, then definitely not the children. The children do not need to have those images flashing in their heads, and then we wonder why they know so much about sex when you can hear it from A to Z in a couple of songs, okay? The black female child should be provided with historical material on black queens and princesses, okay, and educated on her black history in general, okay, because this gives the black children, male or female, in this aspect, it gives them in general a sense of pride and self and solid foundation. Because a lot of our young children now, they're being told that black history doesn't matter and it doesn't, whatever, sweep it underneath the rug. Meanwhile, other races, they're still teaching their children about the ancient ways and historical figures, and it gives them a sense of pride. It's time for the black man and woman not to wait till someone in their schools teaches them. That's never going to happen. You're going to hear about slavery in the school systems. It's time for us to get material, take our time away from what we're doing, and take our time to educate, our children on who they are, so they have a foundation that does not consist of just BET and MTV and hip hop and rap. That's a weak foundation to have. Okay? Let me continue. The black female child should be praised when being feminine and educated and brought to attention when she is doing something unladylike. And this is something that has to be done daily. Okay, so not every week, not when she starts it, not to start it when she's 10. This is something that starts at, I would say, at least 4 years old, when they really start to come into, being a child versus a baby. And this is something, that needs to be taught, even if it's a little younger. Sit with your legs closed. Don't do this, don't do that. You don't prop your legs open. Okay, you don't, just different things that need to be taught. And she, like I said, give her a little praise, when she's being ladylike. Okay. Also, the black female child should not be allowed to curse or speak inappropriately. I don't know how many times I've seen that, especially with the younger mothers. And that's why, as black people, a lot of us say it doesn't matter. We having kids younger or well. What difference does it make? I know I still graduated from college or whatever. This is the part right here on why it's so detrimental to wait till you have wisdom as a woman to make sure that you have something to pass on to your child, because when you're young, let's face it, you want to go out, you want to do things, you want to mess up, you're going to make mistakes. But if you have a child with you while you're making those mistakes, they're being exposed to it, as opposed to you making your mistakes, growing older enough to know that, hey, that wasn't so cool. Now that I'm 38 or I'm 35 or I'm 32 or I'm 28 and I've finished with school, I've made some mistakes, now I can teach my child not to do it. But if you're somewhere cursing and bopping up and down and you're doing this and that, your children are seeing that and they're going to emulate that, and you may think in an ignorant state of being younger that it's okay for your children to curse, and it's not. It's not at all. Or to speak inappropriately, or to be exposed to inappropriate language. Okay? The black female should be educated on her goal of marriage and education from the very start. So our black little girls need to stop hearing about baby mamas. It's destroying our community. It's destroying black people. They must learn at a young age, okay, that they need to be a wife. Okay? They need to be a wife. They need to be a mother and a wife, if that's what they're going to be. Okay? They don't need to just hear that they're just going to be a mother. They don't need to hear that that's that mammy, quote unquote, plantation viewpoint. No, they need to hear, oh, you're going to get married? Okay, so you're going to go to college? You're going to educate yourself? You're going to refine yourself? They need to start hearing this at least 6 and 7 and 8, that you're going to be a wife one day. Okay? From the very start. Basically this sets the tone for the young black female child to aim high. And she also needs to be educated on how she becomes a wife and what disqualifies her: promiscuity, losing your virginity, sleeping with multiple men having a track record about you around the neighborhood. These type of things damage your reputation as a lady from being qualified for marriage. Okay? The black female child should be educated on the value of her body and that she should not let anyone touch her and the consequences thereof. Okay? The black female child needs to understand, okay, that you can't let boys touch on you, that it's a no-no. They should be made to feel like it's abnormal. And as a black mother, you must refrain from having men just touch on you in front of your children, because that sends them a message that this is normalized within the black community. Okay, and she must be made aware of the consequences of letting a boy touch on her, to be aware of how this leads to an increased risk of STDs, teenage pregnancy, and how this diminishes her chance of becoming a wife versus a child's mother in poverty. Okay? The black female child's dress is critical to setting the tone well into her adulthood. And I'm going to repeat that again. The black female child's dress, the way she dresses, is critical to setting the tone well into her adulthood. Okay, and I want to go into detail about this, okay? The black female child should not be allowed to wear tight shirts, short dresses, or skirts. Short shorts, back out shirts, and if she wears dresses, it is in the best interest that she wear bloomers or shorts or biker shorts underneath her dress, And the one thing I would like to add, when we talk about biker shorts, which are the tights, right? I don't like to see girls. This is just my opinion, but this is part of being a lady, though. I don't like to see little girls in those tights without a dress being on. So what a lot of mothers are just putting a little shirt, a waist length shirt, and some tights on. I don't like that look on little girls. Okay, I think it's best if little girls have on, if they're gonna wear tights, it's under a dress that comes down to her calves. Okay, and definitely her knees. No more, no higher than her knees. And then she should have some biker shorts. That's the only time I like to see them in biker shorts. Or if they're gonna wear tights, I like to see tunic shirts, so shirts that cover up their buttocks and go towards their knees. Okay, this is part of, I call it being a lady in training. This is training them, so when they flip or if they, miss a way to sit, they have those shorts. Or I like to buy cute little shorts, cute little shorts to put underneath their dresses, but not just their underwear. They need to be fully clothed, and this is about teaching your daughter how to be modest. No mini skirts and no tights with shorts. Short shirts should be worn, so no back outs. And I think a lot of, especially the younger black mothers find it innocent. Oh, they don't have breasts, they're not developed yet. It's not about that. Okay, it's about, number one, there's people out there that are pedophiles, okay? And they're not with kosher thought. And even beside that, so let's take that component out of that, which is true. But this is about the black woman regaining respect and for her daughter to be raised with some type of dignity and respect, okay? The black female child, okay? Let me see. The black female child should be taught to bathe, and this is black females too in general, 1 to 2 times per day, taught about personal hygiene, appearance, and how to keep their hair kept without bonnets. Okay, I've already made a full episode about that. There's like 25 episodes throughout YouTube land about it. But this is a big one, we need to be taught, how to bathe at least once or twice a day. People should not be able to walk past us and smell, what we smell like, menstrual cycles or whatnot, definitely to take extra baths during that time, and definitely the bonnets. This is part of being a lady, to walk out the door with your hair together. And I know as a black woman it can be tough, if you're working those shifts back to back to back. You may not be feeling good, you might be depressed, you might be this or handling a lot, but or you may feel like you don't want to walk out the door without, some weave on your head. I understand the difficulties on how it is as a black woman. I am a black woman, but it's best if we keep our hair kept without bonnets. Also, the black female child should be taught that ladies do not dance, especially not sexually out in public. No pelvic thrust, no gyrating, no grinding on males. Okay, this is a big one, this is part of the things that make us look unladylike. Things that may seem innocent, things that may be normalized, things that our grandmothers or people that we knew before us may have done. And just because it's frequently seen throughout the urban communities and on TV of the image of a black woman, see, it's made to seem like this is normal for the black woman. Okay, this is normal for her to be on the floor with her butt going left to right. This is what we're known for. This is what we're iconic. Iconic is basically what you're known for most of all. Okay, so we're made to feel like this is normalized, and then we eternalize it, and then we push it out into the communities, and our daughters end up seeing this. And this is just more generations and more generations that's going to do this. I don't think so. Like I said, black woman, which one will you choose to be known for? Okay, the black female child should be discouraged from posing in pictures where her tongue is stuck out, which is sexually indicative of oral sex. Okay, that's another thing that makes black women look unladylike when they're sticking their tongue out in pictures. I don't care if it's for fun. I don't care if you're, licking on a lollipop. That's even worse. Or have something in your mouth, popsicle. This is unladylike. The black female child should refrain. I've already said that. Although it is important for the young black female child to become educated and be able to financially support herself, so this is very important. The teenage female child should also be well informed on cooking, sewing, cleaning, and teaching, because these are attributes along with others, but these are some core components, and also working on her self-esteem and her attitude. These are key components on what lands her a husband. Okay. I think a lot of times as black women, you think that you've arrived at womanhood once you develop, once you've hit puberty, once puberty is complete, and that this all it takes is to be a woman, is to put on a dress and lipstick. And I'm here to talk to my young black women that that's only a fraction of a woman. Okay, or what you see being a woman and having breasts and being developed is no more than a man saying that he's 6'2" and that he has developed muscles, and that makes him a man without educating himself and providing and protecting and cultivating his communities. If he's missing that and just has the muscles and the height, that's no more than a black woman saying, "Hey, I've got these hips, I've got this banging body with lipstick on and eyelashes and hair, and that's all I need to be a woman and to take me as I am." No, it's time for the black man and woman to both rise above that. So we need these components. How to cook. How to cook home cooked meals. Okay, how to sew if something gets ripped, or if you perhaps have a husband one day and he needs things mended around the house. Cleaning is important. Cleaning around the house and teaching. I say teaching because you need to be able to teach your children. This is something that's great. If a husband knows that you're well educated, and if need be, you can teach your children at home if you need to. Or this is just a constant daily role of a mother, is teaching the children. Okay, and that you have the education and knowledge to do so. Not just about arithmetic, science, and language arts, but also about daily living and wisdom. A woman with wisdom. Okay, the female child must be highly discouraged from fraternizing with boys, especially in private areas. So the black female child needs to be supervised. And I think that's why it's so tough, and I want to make an episode because I want to address a viewer, about divorce, and I understand that I realize things do happen, but I want to go into detail about black people and our mindset about just splitting up, though, for different reasons, other than just abuse, and versus if there's a situation that's abusive versus a mistake being made, because I mention that because with the black female child, and what you have the black mother, so much out of the home. The black father, a lot of times, is not present at all. You have some black women that, may be running the streets or things of that nature. And then you have the black mother that is at work so many hours. And that leaves both black female child and both black male child unsupervised. And that's where we're failing as black people too, because the black female child, her virginity must be protected. And what I mean by that is she should not be allowed to go out and do certain things and fraternize in private little places. The only way that can be monitored is if there's someone at home, more so to watch where she's at, making sure she's coming in, making sure there's no boys sneaking in the house, monitoring certain activities online. And that takes time, and that takes someone, whether that's the father or the mother, to be in the house to make sure. And that's not to say that things still can't happen. Children still don't come up missing. Children still don't have pregnancy. But the thing that the black people need to stop making an excuse for is that, oh, something can happen anyway, so I'm just not going to do it. That's black people's problem. All due respect, we want to say that, oh, the ratio is still going to be 73% single mothers, no matter if I'm there or not. That's not the truth. what we can do as black people is, yeah, there's still going to be casualties of war. There's still going to be teenage pregnancy and stuff like that, no matter if you're there 24/7 with your kids. We already know that. But the reality is, it would decrease our children being in such situations to where they can fall prey to predators and teenage pregnancy if we did have more mothers or more fathers that was in the house monitoring and supervising what our children do versus being out the home, one parent strictly at work or something, and our children having a higher incidence of falling into these traps that ends up ruining their life. Okay, let me continue. So I talked about the boys that she needs to stay away from in private areas. Okay, she must be taught of how it ruins her chances of becoming a wife to an eligible man. Okay, it increases her chance of teenage pregnancy. She must be taught the truth on how it diminishes her value for marriage and proposals, okay, and makes it 3 times harder to complete college and to go travel. A lot of single mothers, especially as black women, you know, that's one thing. It's very good that you beat the odds, especially if you were a younger teenage mother and you went to college, you got your bachelor's, you did these things, But the truth is, and the reality is, it is that much harder. And I think as black women, we can stop making things so hard on ourselves just because we want to, title ourselves strong black women. We need to start being honest with our young black daughters, that it is, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, you can, be a teenage parent and beat the odds. But look at how much harder it is to do so versus, following the right path from the beginning, and made her aware of this. Okay, make our black daughters aware of this. The black female child must be educated at a very young age that she will be married or a bride, and a bride, because you're a bride, you're married, they two are pretty much interchangeable terms. But the black woman must be conditioned, the black child, the black teenager must be conditioned for this. Okay, that she's going to be married, she's going to be a bride. Okay, but not that she's just going to be that, but what it takes, the things that I'm describing in this episode on what it takes to become a bride. Okay, keeping herself chaste, definitely not giving herself away, and if she has, as least as possible. Okay, and that her sexuality is not to be taken lightly, to just passed around like butter on bread. It's not to be spread out like that. Okay, she must be educated and highly discouraged in the acts that will leave her a child with no husband. She must be highly discouraged to do so. Highly. Although the female child should know how to defend herself, so she should know how to fight. So I'm not saying this is not part of a woman, that she should be able to turn that switch on if she needs to, but she must be taught only if and for self-defense. So this is not something that you just do just because you want to show off or for attention. Okay, the black female child should be highly discouraged from horseplay. Okay, and I'm talking about the black female child here. Being loud and boisterous, cursing or foul language, and this goes for black women as well. There's nothing that devalues the black woman more to be out in a public setting, Walmart, a grocery store, at a park, in a corporate building, at work, anywhere, and she just busts out with this guffaw, this loud, cankerous laugh. It nothing devalues the black woman more than her doing that. It makes people turn around, and of course, in their head, they may not say it out loud. Oh, that's just typical of a black woman, and it puts men in the image of a magpie, this loud bird, and that's what we don't want. We want to be seen graceful as a gazelle. We don't want to seem loud like a magpie, and a lot of black women think it's normal. They think this is there's nothing wrong with it. If that's the case, you can go on about your way. No judgment here, but I'm just trying to inform the black woman on what devalues us. Cursing and foul language, okay, and being, like I said, loud and boisterous and clamorous. These are the things that devalue the black woman, okay? The black female child should be discouraged from talking improper English. Okay, because like I said before in a couple of my episodes, nothing speaks volumes more with black men and black women than when your speech, is not up to snuff. And like I said before, we can talk about speaking correct English is trying to be white. But like I informed black men and women, we're already speaking European. We're already speaking English. I don't care if it's broken English. It's still European English. We're not speaking in our native tongue. None of us are speaking African, Swahili, or any of that. If you are, that's great. But if you're born over here in America, you're already speaking white, quote unquote. So we can squash this as black people that speaking correct English or proper English is being white. We're already speaking English. We're already speaking a European language, if you get what I'm trying to say. And so it's time for the black woman to refine her speech and refine her vocabulary. And this goes for black men as well. You know what I mean? It's about being intelligent. It's not about being anyone other than ourselves. It's about being an intelligent black person. And if you need to, you can have your hood talk. Like I said, like Hispanics do, and Arabians do. They'll speak their language amongst their family and friends if you want to speak Ebonics or whatever. But when you go out here in the world, you know how to flip it on and off. Is what I'm saying. If you messed up in your youth, and I want to talk to grown black women right here. If you messed up in your youth as a grown woman, it is your duty and obligation to have the integrity to make sure your daughter doesn't make the same mistakes. Black mothers, okay, should set the example to their daughter on how a lady dresses. Okay, so it's one thing to teach your daughters this, but as a black mother, I think there's a difference between which there shouldn't be that much of one, but let's be honest. When you're young, you're in your early 20s before you have kids, you got on something, a little skimpier, something. I'm not saying to the magnitude of what we see now. But I'm just saying, but when you become a mother, though, it's time to put that down, though, because you do have eyes on you. You have your black sons, molding their image of what a woman should be after you. You have your black daughters, wanting to put their makeup like you, wanting to put their hair like you. And if you're dressed with hardly any clothes on, then what does this set the tone for our black daughters to feel like it's normalized to wear if they see you wearing it? And this is part of the sacrifice that I'm talking about. Not just saying, oh, I'll die for my kid, but oh, I'll sacrifice wearing this skimpy little cat suit that has my crotch out. I'll sacrifice wearing this in front of my kids because I don't want them to see that. I want to wear that, but I'm not going to wear it because I have kids. That's how you sacrifice your life in a whole different way than just saying, I'll jump in front of a car, I'll do this. No, how about sacrificing your life as a mother to say, hey, I'm going to protect my child's image and their legacy, and I'm not going to dress like that because I don't want them to think this is normal. That's how I'm going to sacrifice my life, doing some things I don't want to do or that I wish I could do, but I'm not going to do it because it's going to affect my children's well-being. How about sacrificing our life as black mothers on that level? Okay? Black mothers should not drop their children off at daycares unless it's absolutely necessary. Okay, so we need to decrease that. Especially as black mothers, if you're not going to work, if you're not having a court date or something important, this is not just I want to get away from my child. Unfortunately, daycares are not the best places for our children to be. Your children should not be able to click online and see compromising pictures of you. So your children should not be able to click online, and especially when they get into those ages where they can, surf the internet and see you in these compromising positions, naked, your butt propped out. All these things, it causes what's the word? Dishonor to the children. To see, hey, this is my mom. Oh, your mom? Oh, wow. As black women, we need to start thinking about these things. Black women should refrain from bringing non-biological fathers around their children. This point ties into the die for your child part. Like I said, it's one thing for you to say, oh, I'll die for my kid, I'll jump in front of a car, a train, I'll jump into a burning house for my child. But some of this is sacrificing your life. Unfortunately, it hurts, I know. It seems a little unfair. But that's why it's so important and critical to choose a man that you can, have in the house with you. You don't have to worry about bringing other men around your child. And I'm not saying that there's not some great stepfathers out there. I'm not saying that. But this is about the dignity and honor of your child, which is a whole nother episode that I'll be discussing why it's so critical not to bring non-biological fathers around the child, and how you may have to stay single for some time. Unfortunately, the black woman must learn to sit with her shoulders back and legs closed. The black woman must practice on her personal attributes that don't include her sexuality. Okay, so the black woman must learn how to practice on what she's good at, so that all she has to present, so that she doesn't just present her sexuality to a man. Okay, fine, such as fine arts. If you're good at painting, if you're good at drawing, if you're good at working out, if you're beautifying yourself, poetry, literature. This is called culture and refinement. As a black woman, a lot of times, like I said once before, black women are taught, I could just show my breast. I can just, twerk and he'll be bedazzled, right? Yes, he may be bedazzled for about zero point 0.5 seconds or until the sexual escapade is done away with. But what the black woman must do is rise her self-esteem level to understand that she can be worth more than just a sexual thrill if she works on herself to refine the components that cause a man to be interested more than just for one night. Okay, it's about refining those things that you're good at and getting to know yourself so that you will know what you can um, accentuate other than just your cleavage line, things like I said that you're good at, your hobbies. Okay, a black lady should not be in private areas with a man unsupervised. So we talked about the black little girl shouldn't be in areas unsupervised, but the black females should not be in areas, even as a black woman, a grown woman, you shouldn't. A lady should not ask a man for sex. Okay, you shouldn't. You should not. If this is not your husband, you know, and this is because it makes us look easy. It makes us look desperate, and it sets the tone to a man that we're easy. We're easy catch. We're a sure thing. If you're asking them for the sex, and even if they ask you, of course you shouldn't just give it to them. But I'm saying you shouldn't be the one asking them, especially if this is not your husband. Now, if that's your husband, it's a totally different ball game. But I'm talking about black women in general. A lady should not trade or barter her body for money. So this is no more quid pro quo. Nothing cheapens the black woman more than asking for sex, asking for money for her sex. And that's a whole different episode on the black woman feeling like, subconsciously she can't obtain a committed man for love, so she trades it off for money to feel like she's getting something out of it. So this is a whole different episode, but she should not trade her body for money. The most eligible woman would have married a virgin, okay? But definitely, so this is not realistic all the time, a virgin, but definitely discouraged from a high number of sexual encounters. A lady should not have sex around where she works, go to school, or lives at, simply because it ruins her reputation, dignity, and respect. Okay? And, with men, it is a double standard, and it's reality. That you should not have sex around, where you're at, where you work or live or go to school, because, you're at the locker area and you're wondering why they're laughing, but deep down inside, that the guy that you had sex with is in that crowd. And, guys brag about these certain things, especially if they have no respect for you after the sexual encounter, and then your reputation is ruined. And the black woman needs to give thought about her reputation. So this is no more, I don't care and I'm just a bad bee. No. This is, oh no, I can't be seen like this. I'm not going to be seen like this. I'm going to have dignity about myself. I want men to say good evening, good afternoon. I don't want them to be laughing because they know I have a tattoo on my buttocks because he just told the whole crowd. That's what this is about, black woman. Okay? It is discouraged to argue with men. Okay? And I think this is a big one, We can't argue with men, especially when our lives are not at stake or danger, And, I know this is going to sound funny, and this has nothing to do with a television show, but this is reality, Sometimes it's good to play a little role. Hey, a guy starts yelling, hey, drop a fake tear. Other women are masters of doing it. They'll drop a fake tear. They when the man goes high, you go low. It might be a little form of coaxing and manipulation, but it's better than yelling back at him. It might be a little passive aggressive because you're angry inside and you want to tell him, you want to, yell back, but hey, maybe drop a little tear or something, or, hold your head down and just sigh like you're just really sad. Hopefully this will change. If he cares about you, this will change the way he's talking to you. It's better than fighting, because it's highly discouraged to fight with a man. Okay, it really is. Like I said, if your life's not in danger, it's better to walk away. Or if you feel like he's disrespecting you, just discontinue the relationship with this particular man. Okay, a lady should not refer to herself or other women with derogatory names, not even jokingly. You know those famous names, bees and all that type of stuff. You know, subconsciously that lowers the self-esteem of not only yourself but other women that surround you. And I think lastly, black women should cease forth on gossiping about your sister, because you should want for your sister what you want for yourself. Now, also goes with black men as well. That pretty much concludes this segment. It's been a pleasure talking with you all. I hate that it was so long. It was tough to kind of shorten it, condense it. There's so much to be said in so little time. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to make a financial contribution, you can at thetruthwithtrinity.com. If you're listening and you like what you heard, you can subscribe, you can share with others. You can also listen to my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone else, you can with Trinity. Till next time, take care.